One of the best Invictus flankers is discontinued. Don't you just love it when they do that? Yeah, but it's okay. Fragrance World. Thanks.
Here's some codes to save you some cash on your next Middle Eastern niche or designer fragrances.
What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite Invictus flankers. It's the Legend flanker. Unfortunately, now discontinued. I find it to be the most attention-grabbing, the strongest, and the best smelling out of the entire lineup. Despite popular opinion, I genuinely find this one to be the better one, even in comparison to Invictus Aqua. Reason being, it's a little bit more interesting, but it's not going to be for everybody. It's got an aromatic bay leaf, which is extremely distinctive in this. So there's something herbaceous here that really punches you in the nose, in combination with that bubblegummy aquatic vibe. So much more interesting, in my opinion, much more attention getter, compliment worthy. It's got me numerous compliments. I bought 2 bottles, luckily, while it was still in stock. But now I don't even think I need to have 2 bottles anymore. Invicto Legend by Fragrance World. I'm all for it when they start duping these discontinued gems. Man, that was hard. It's a very long. I'm all for it when these companies start to do the inspired buys of discontinued fragrances. That's exactly what we need. Officially revived Invictus Legend. So let's talk about some of the differences with these fragrances. So like I was saying, the Invictus Legend is extremely bubblegummy. However, it has that very distinctive herbaceous aromatic bay leaf. Salty, bubblegummy sweet, extremely attention-grabbing, and honestly, this is a fragrance that, although it's salty, it's really good on my skin. Most salty aquatic fragrances, it's just a no-go for me. Comes off salty, sour, off-putting. This is very different. The herbaceous and the sweet nature of the fragrance really counteracts very well with some of those salty accords, so it doesn't come off salty on my skin, but it is an aquatic fragrance through and through. Most of the difference for these 2 fragrances is going to be in that opening. So the opening of Invictus Legend, you get a little bit more all at once. You get punched with the entire fragrance all from the start. You get the bubblegummy sweetness, the aquatic nature, the herbaceous bay leaf, all at once. With Invicto Legend, you don't really get it all at once. You get more of just like the herbaceous qualities and the aquatic, and then the sweet undertones start to really build up. Despite the fact that there isn't any mint or rosemary listed in the note breakdown, it does have like this cooling effect, and it could be contributed to some of the other notes like possibly geranium or even the label of spices. When they put a label like that, it could really be anything. Rosemary is more of an herbaceous aromatic nuance, and that's exactly what this fragrance is. This one, however, comes off a little bit more aromatic at the top, less bubblegummy sweet, while this one comes off much more bubblegummy sweet just in the opening. As these start to dry down, this one, the sweetness starts to really increase. And for those of you that are just listening and not watching, the one that I refer to as this one is Invicto Legend. So Invicto Legend opens up a little bit more aromatic, less sweet, still captures the whole essence of the fragrance. And as you get into the mid and dry down, that's when the ambers and some of those sweet base sweetness of the fragrance starts to really creep up. Invictus Legend is a much more complex, much more just interesting fragrance than Invictus Aqua, in my opinion, and mostly contributed to some of the different accords. You're going to get marine, you're going to get aromatic, fresh, green, a little bit spicy, and sweet. This is a great fragrance, honestly, and Invicto Legend revives that. So you don't really have to go out there and find the original if you don't really have the budget for it, but this is miles above, genuinely miles above, the one that I already loved, Victorioso Legend by Maison Alhambra. I already love that fragrance, honestly, but in comparison to Invicto Legend, it's like alcohol compared to like oils. The concentration differences is very evident. That one's still a good fragrance, but I would recommend this one over that easily. In terms of the longevity and performance, I didn't get more than 8 hours. However, almost the entirety of the fragrance, I could smell it. It was only until about hour 6.5 that I had to like look for it, and even then it wasn't like gone. The aromatic qualities of the fragrance really sticks around for most of the life of the fragrance, and that's basically what you're going to detect in the dry down. Some of those ambers, the woods, and the aromatics. So it really doesn't disappear. So it's a fragrance that's really worth it. The only difference, it smells like about 85% close. I'm not going to say that this is above like 90% or even above 85%. There are a bit of differences, but it's mostly going to be in that sweetness. The quality of the amber woods or the ambers is exactly what I think is different here. The fragrance itself is still fantastic. We're talking about Invicto Legend. The original, I still love, absolutely love the original. With all things considered, if Invictus Legend was still offered, I would highly recommend purchasing that fragrance. But with it being discontinued and being sold at over 150 bucks, Invicto Legend is more than good enough. So at about half of the price at retail, with a DNA that's more than half close to the original, I think this one's worth it. And it's definitely worth it more so than Maison Alhambra. And to close things up with a more factual testing, we're going to spray both of these. So Maison Alhambra on one strip and Invicto Legend on the other. Atomizer is already better on the Invicto Legend, if that matters to you. Victorioso Legend by Mesa Alhambra, honestly, it's just like alcohol right now, much more aromatic. Invicto Legend is much more aromatic, easily a better fragrance, easily. Victorioso Legend is not a bad fragrance. It really is not. And at the time, while there was no other dupe, it was the best one. I was recommending this left and right. And to this day, I mean, it's still not a bad fragrance. If you have this, it still smells fantastic. But if you want something even closer, I mean, it's been about 8 months since this one released, I think. I've been talking about this for a while. So I'd be a little concerned if they released a newer fragrance that's not better than something 8 months ago. And that's exactly what this is. Invicto Legend by Fragrance World. If you enjoy this DNA, this one's absolutely worth getting. Even if I had Mesa Alhambra Victorioso Legend, I would get this one because I love the original. So there you go. Versatility King, summertime, really any season approved. The aromatic nature, some of the ambers and stuff. At the top, it does open up like a summertime fragrance, but it's got the mid and the dry down of an all-season fragrance or a winter fragrance. And it lasts a decent amount of time. It's not gonna last as long in the winter time, but you can rock this easy on a hot summer day. And it kind of transitions with your day. You start off, it's hot, it starts to get a little bit cooler with the sun going down, and that's exactly what this fragrance kind of does. It starts off bright, citric, and starts to warm up and get a little bit sweeter and woodier in the dry down. For the price point, this is a 10 out of 10. There you have it, Invicto Legend. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Invictus Legend. And until the next video, make sure to hit the subscribe and the like button. Peace.